Hey everyone, this is Meg with another first impressions video for you, and today I'm going to be talking about Dragon's Dogma. The story is quite straightforward so far. Even though the voice acting can be a little bit corny at times, it's keeping me interested, although it is quite a bog standard sword and dragon's tale, which for me can get a little bit stale. The story is your heart is nom-nommed by a yearly dragon visitor, but it doesn't kill you. Instead, a lack of heart bonds you to this creature, which calls you to pick up arms and fight him. You don the title of Arisen and gain a legion of pawns, which are there to protect you until the bitter end. You then embark on a long, treacherous, emphasis on the treacherous, journey. I'm not too far into the story, so I can't really comment on how it's evolving too much. As I said before, I am enjoying it, but I wouldn't say that the story is the game's best feature. I think it fits nicely alongside the rest of the game, and it's fantastic for what it is, but there's no real surprises at every turn. It's not a shocking story so far, and I get the impression it's possibly not going to be. I would say the best thing about the gameplay so far is the big bosses, hands down. Whilst you're traversing the world, you come across these huge mothers that are freaking terrifying. They bring back that old, oh crap, I can't fight that, can't fight it feeling. And with monsters that have 4, 5 or 6 health bars, is it any wonder? They're all grand and mythical icons that simultaneously awe-inspire and frighten. The second best feature, I think, to the bosses would be the pawn system. I love the fact, as I said before, that you can customise them and that they never leave your side, your main playable pawn that is. You can even customise them down to the way they react to you. They also learn from your behaviour and how you react to situations. I know I've become stupidly attached to my pawn, but we make such a great team! You can also pick up 2 pawns from the Rift. You have to be online to utilise this feature, as other people's main pawns will be available here. They won't level up with you though. I thought this was fantastic. You could vary up your party depending on certain situations. You could favourite your favourites to use again when they're at a higher level, and all the while you're stuck with your right-hand man, woman or child. Dragon's Dogma for me was a bit like Skyrim and Dragon Age Origins, or even Demon's Souls really, with a Capcom kind of spin on it, in the sense that it's very action-packed and very fast-paced. It has RPG elements that doesn't really slow the gameplay down. If anything, it enhances it, alongside this dramatic action feel that really flows effortlessly from fight to fight. For example, there was this excellent part after you defeat the Hydra, where you have to transport the Hydra head to Grand Sorin and sort of present it to the Duke. And on your way there, it's in the middle of the night and monsters pretty much swarm you at night. It's awful, it's terrifying. As you're moving this Hydra head on a very rickety sort of carriage that's pulled by a bull, you're being, oh my gosh, attacked left, right and centre. It does not stop, and it is miles away, Grand Sorin that is. You have a long journey ahead of you. And whilst you're getting there, you've got wolves nipping at your heels, you've got harpies that are dive bombing you, you've got bandits trying to kill you, you've got goblins trying to kill you. I think this was the point that I really fell in love with the gameplay of Dragon's Dogma. It had that same frantic feeling as, say, the train level in Uncharted 2, which if you played that game, you should probably know what I'm talking about. But it literally feels like what Capcom would do with an RPG. People have been complaining, I hear, about combat, but I'm not having any trouble with bad mechanics. There are openings in battle, and playing a Strider is, I felt, a nice balance that perfectly counteracts my army of warriors and mages. There are quests, but there aren't too many or too few. They range in difficulty and task, but they are again effortless to progress through. I didn't feel like they slowed me down or overcomplicated things, and quests added a little extra, whether it was in plot or play. You can level up by talking to a few people around the verse, and you spend experience points on new abilities, new attacks. It's quite simple, which I preferred because it stopped leveling up becoming something too intricate and too time-consuming. I mean, there are some downsides. There are a few buggy moments in the gameplay, like especially I find when you're on the back of a monster, the camera work tends to go absolutely crazy, and there are areas, especially in cutscenes, where there should be black, there's purple. And I don't mean like a deep purple, not something that you could substitute black for. It's like bright neon purple that definitely shouldn't be there. It can also be a little bothersome travelling everywhere on foot, especially considering that your character can get tired very easily, which is a real drag. I mean, thankfully though, the cities and the towns are quite close together. It's only when you get out into the countryside that you're really in trouble. I mean, you'll set a destination on your map. You'll be heading there and you can see the sun setting. You know you're miles away from your destination, and you know as soon as that sun sets, you are in trouble, because there be monsters in the dark. Overall, I'm really enjoying the gameplay, and there's no multiplayer, which is good for me, seeing as multiplayer just really isn't my thing. The graphics are quite good. First of all, I really liked the looks of all the characters, all the varying styles that you could pick for them, and the variation in armour and things. I just thought it was really great. I loved the look of it, and I think the same awesomeness really carried over to the bosses. I know the Hydra really stuck out for me. The landscape does seem a little bland, but only in very few places, and these are usually plains or large fields, so there really wouldn't be too much going on there anyway. I know I shouldn't really be comparing it, but the environments look like they're trying to feel alive and all-encompassing, but they're amateur in comparison to Skyrim. Still, this works for the game, as I feel the monsters are the real triumph here. I think the set pieces are varied and expansive, but lacking, again, detailed texturing here and there. So overall, the graphics are okay, but I really do think the triumph, as I said before, are the monsters and the characters. Character models. The score really isn't standing out to me so far. I like the music that played in the first village that you come across, which is your hometown. That was okay, but the rest of it just really blends into the background. To me, anyway. Although I am really obsessed with the, I guess it's the theme that plays during the main menu. Absolutely obsessed with it. It's called Into Free, and it's by BZ? Buzz. I'll put the, the link here or the title here. The only problem I seem to find is I can't really find it in English. I can only ever find it in Japanese, because there's obviously a Japanese and an English version, and for once I prefer the English version, but I can't find it anywhere, and it's really frustrating. It seems that anyone who puts it up on YouTube or shares it anywhere, it gets pulled because of copyright, and I'm just not really sure why. It's a little upsetting because it's absolutely epic, it's insane. A lot of people don't think it matches the game, but I think it's so cool. So I guess really the only thing I have to say to Capcom, if you are watching this, is please, please, for the love of Pete, make Into Free, the English version, available to people. Overall, I cannot prize myself away from this game. And from the looks of things, it's going to be a very long game indeed. So that's it for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please feel free to leave your comments and opinions on Capcom or Dragon's Dogma in the comment section below. Thanks again, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye! Pawns. Pawn. Pawn. You gain a legend of pawns. Pawn. Pawn. Pawn? Pawn! Pawn! Sounds like a really, like, Urgh! This isn't gonna sound right anyway I say it, is it? If only it was pawn, it would be so much easier to say. So it's more like pawn than it is pawn. I'm not gonna be able to get through this, am I? Every time I say the word, I just can't help but chuckle. Not because it sounds like porn, it's hard for me to say. If it was because of the word porn, I would be pretty immature.